Terve and welcome to Finnish Doom Death Times. These are very dark times because of all kind of coronaviruses and, well, because the climate change and everything. But now let's focus on metal and start talking about a band called Solothus from Finland. And this is actually from my home city. Solothus is here with their new album called Realm of Ash and Blood. And what a beautiful, beautiful cover image this Digipack release has gotten. Here it is as whole. This was a painting which I think the band member Wobles probably got, and I think it's goddamn beautiful. Just look at all these colors, details and whatnot. It's a beautiful release by 20 Buck Spin. Now, people who have been aware and woke, what a trendy word to be added here, already know this band from previous years. This is not exactly a new band, being there more than 10 years now, and being kind of a constant in releasing new music every couple of years. And it seems that the band has kind of progressed and stepped up with each of their releases. When I first heard the band roughly almost 10 years ago, it was a very raw work in progress with their demo. And while the doom death metal was already there, the band kind of started to hone and polish their style. And the whole band, could we say, evolved and progressed to a different level, whatever it is nowadays. And it has gotten better an album by album, which is obviously something that every band wants to do. However, until now at least, the band hasn't been exactly a top-notch band, doing nicely with their music, but still something has been missing. Will this one fix it out? Let's find out, like Uncle Ward said it. Here we have the band's Metal Archive site for your convenience to check out the basic information here. As you can see, founded already in 2007, and then first demo, at least official demo, in 2011, and this was the one I was talking about. Rather mediocre one in terms of music and whatnot, but soon the band kind of stepped up and then gained the first album a couple of years later, and then another 3 years later, No King's Reign Eternal, which is so far have been the best album by the band. But I think this new one is actually beating up it, even though maybe not progressing as much as previously. But then again, that's usually what happens with bands. I mean, first the evolution is quite quickly, and then when you end up being rather good band, it doesn't change that much. But here you have the whole discography so far. You have the member information here. 5 members, of which 2 are original ones. One of them being Kari Kankaanpää, who has just really deep, crawly vocals. Very inhumane, but I mean, very good also. And here we have the similar artists page, which has some bands. Here you can actually see my suggestions, which are rather similar in style. Not exactly the same, but, you know, which I would say. Obviously, I haven't heard all of these, so I really can't vote them up or down. But at least that's to kind of give you an indication what it's all about. And here we have the related links like homepage, Bandcamp and social media. For example, here is the Bandcamp page, but this doesn't have the latest album, probably because it's most likely on the site labels site, and sometimes it's late because, you know, some bands don't want to add it. But I'm sure it's on the Bandcamp site. Anyway, after this review, I will check it out and add it to the description box. And here we have the band's own traditional homepage versus social media page and Bandcamp and whatnot. And you can have more information here about gigs, art, and so forth. But now it's time to talk about this new album, Realm of Ash and Blood, obviously, which is out, as you can see, 27th of March 2020, and having about 42 minutes of music in the genre of called Doom and Death. Now, this is very, very clear example of what kind of music we're dealing here with, because After all, this is very much homage to doom metal as it's to death metal. And when I say about doom metal, don't mean those traditional bands. You know, you're thinking obviously bands like Candlemass, Cathedral, and stuff like that. But more the kind of a traditional doom death when Crowley vocals were part of the whole deal. Like some early My Dying Bride or Anathema and stuff like that. So obviously it's slow tempo. It's very down-tuned guitars, heavy guitar sound. Those despairful guitar leads and all that stuff. And that is where Solothus is very strong and powerful. They have everything that is needed to make this music, sound like what it's supposed to be in this genre. It's not like going fast-paced. It's not adding some screamy vocal layers, which are, in my opinion, not needed, not called for when we're talking about death doom. But there's always a but, in case you didn't know that. What it still lacks, in my opinion, and I'm talking about this particular album, not so much as a band, it's still missing one of those kind of a hit songs, the hit material that just kind of sucks you in right away and you don't want to get out of it. While this album is very kind of easy and mostly quite enjoyable to listen through and full and back and forth, it's still a little bit like missing the magical moments. Obviously this might be the case because I'm coming from the more traditional death metal background and also a lot of black metal background, not so much doom death head. So once again, this might be the album of the year for people who are more into doom death than me. But nevertheless, all that being said, I still think that while Solothus is getting stronger and more focused with their material and kind of honing their sound and just every detail, this is kind of a safe album. It's not so much progressing versus the previous one. It's more about working now on the details, rather creating the whole thing so much better. Now, obviously, this is a two-way street in a ways that, or let's say two-edged sword rather, because on the other hand, it's kind of a good that they don't change their style, being loyal to what they are, and as such pleasing their fans and probably themselves as well. But on the other hand, it feels like a little bit dull and a kind of a safe bet. That is, imagine older bands recreating one of their albums with another new one, which is just basically the same as the previous one, as was the previous one before that. Now, I'm not saying that the band actually should change, but in order to just kind of keep it fresh and shed a new skin, I think it's always a little bit welcome to add some new things and explore the possibilities. Maybe this band has, and maybe they have actually done that even more than what I'm thinking of here. But I'm still wondering even if they could push a little more that boundary. Now, all that also being said, I still think that this might be the best album by the band so far. It's good, but it's not great. So it's a kind of a thin line when you actually just, cross the line to being greatness, being a future classic. Who knows if this will be after a few years one of those, but still I think the band is missing something magical. Nevertheless, once again, in case you are a fan of doom death, there's no excuse why not to check out and maybe fall in love with this band and this particular album anyway. So it's out 27th, and be sure to check out those Bandcamp samples, and who knows, this might be your future classic or one of those albums you wanna listen to more. Thank you for watching. Should you have any questions, comments or whatever, put them in the comment box below and I'll get back to you. Rauta signing off.